Is openSUSE a good choice for a beginner to Linux? That is a question I got from a subscriber who put in the comments of my last video, I really want to try Linux as my main operating system for everyday use. So would openSUSE be a good choice for a beginner? Now, obviously I'm very openSUSE biased because I think it's fantastic, but my answer might surprise you. It might not, but let me explain. Firstly, I think we do need to sort of set the idea of there's a difference between easiest first day versus best choice for a beginner, because they are two different things. And if you are asking me, I've never used Linux before, I just want to try out, what should I try? Then the answer is probably Linux Mint or Zorin OS. They're the two really super beginner friendly, day one, turn it on, bam, it works, fantastic. That's the answer. Is openSUSE quite as easy as those two? No, it's not. So that is my recommendation. If you just want to try Linux out, you have no interest in doing anything else, you just want to see what it's like, then Linux Mint is a great choice. That's where I would start. Now, where I would differ is if you want to spend some time and really get into Linux, because it is not just an operating system, it is an ecosystem, it is I don't want to say a way of life, but it is different than just a normal Windows or Mac OS. Because your Linux distribution is kind of like your sports team. And if you ever ask anyone, which sports team should I follow, they're going to say their one. So it's a bit like that with Linux. If you ask anyone, they will just say probably the distribution that they use is the best. And that's, it's fine. It's how it should be. Championing for your favorite distribution. It's kind of cool. I quite like that side. But you do need to think about how you're going to use this. How you're going to use this distribution. And what knowledge do you have? How much are you willing to learn? All these type of questions. Now, like I said, Linux Mint, you turn it on, install it. Fantastic. It all works brilliantly. The only issue is when it goes wrong, you don't have the built-in rollback that openSUSE does. Now, as I've said in my previous video, which the subscriber, which you've watched, openSUSE comes with Snapper already set up and installed. You haven't got to do anything. And that lets you roll back to a previously working state that it's already made. Every time you do an update, it creates a snapshot. You can roll back to it. Linux Mint doesn't have that by default. You have to set that up, which means, is it better for a beginner to have it all set up or to have to set it up themselves? Most likely, you're going to choose to have it already set up, but that's on openSUSE, not Mint. So that's what I'm saying. Day one, just to use it, Mint's fantastic. If you want to extend it a little bit longer and think a week, 3 weeks, a month, 6 months down the line, I think openSUSE is the more sturdy choice. The other thing you have to consider, and you might not need to consider this, it might mean nothing to you, and that is the moral side. That is do you want a distribution based in America? Do you want one based in Europe? Do you even care? It might mean nothing to you. So you've got to think about that. Which way you're going to go with that. So think about those. Linux Mint is out of Ireland and openSUSE is from Germany. But if you choose Fedora, which is a fantastic distribution, I really like Fedora, but my issue is that it's American owned. It's owned by Red Hat, big American company, and I kind of wanted to move away from the Americans, and I wanted my distribution to be controlled by a European base, and that's openSUSE. Obviously, like I said, is in Germany, but that's just personal choice, and that means nothing to the running of it. I mean, other than that, Linux distributions are kind of the same. They've all got a package manager to install apps. The instructions are slightly different. Mint uses apt to install stuff. openSUSE uses zipper. It makes no difference. People say apt is better than zipper because it's quicker. Fine, but it doesn't make much difference. So that's kind of an irrelevant choice. For me, your main choices are, where can you get support if something goes wrong? Do you know someone running that version of Linux? That's a big help. If you know someone who's running it, fantastic. Is there the online support? You might pick a really niche Linux distribution that's got 100 people using it, and if you have a problem, you're just never going to find the answer. So when you're starting out, it's probably not the best place to start. you are better off with one of the Fedoras, Ubuntu's, Mint, openSUSE, all those ones, because there's more support. Now, if you search how do I do something on Linux, most of the time the top results are going to be for Ubuntu, which is the base for Linux Mint. So they will work on that. openSUSE has fantastic documentation, great forums, but it's definitely not as geared. There's not so much beginner content out there, which is why I made gnutolinux.com, because I love openSUSE. And even though it's not just an openSUSE website, there is some openSUSE stuff up there to help with the beginner content. And like this video, exactly the same for this video. What you got to remember is when you're asking people, everyone's going to have their own bias. Am I biased towards openSUSE? Yeah, it's my favorite one, but that's just because I've got the most experience with it for me. Mint, I use Mint. My daughter uses Mint. She has Mint as her main PC because it's just a little bit easier for people who don't know quite so much. It's brilliant. I love Mint. But because I'm a tinkerer, I prefer openSUSE. Now, the other item you have to consider is Mint and Ubuntu-based distros normally have a fixed release. So they come out every 6 months, every 2 years. And once it's finished, they support it for a few years, and then you've got to reinstall to upgrade all your system. openSUSE has this. That is called the Leap version. So if you see Leap on the website, Leap is there like, this is all working. It's super reliable. We've tested all the packages. Here's your install. That will work for a couple of years. Then you'll need to reinstall for the next version. However, the other option is to have a rolling release where you don't have version upgrades. You just have constant system upgrades all the time. And that is where people get a bit scared. Because if you're constantly upgrading vital system files, there is a potential for one to just slip through and go, no, your system's balked, and then you're scuppered. And that is why for a rolling release, I love openSUSE because of the Snapper integration. And as I've said before, Snapper, the rollback tool, is a not any way exclusive to openSUSE. It just needs a ButterFS or BTRFS file system to run. It's just that openSUSE integrates it really well. I know CachyOS does the same very well, integrates it fantastically. And you could say use CachyOS. The only difference, I will say, is the reason why I don't use CachyOS and I don't recommend it so much is openSUSE uses a system called OpenQA, which means all the packages automatically go through OpenQA and get tested, and then they're sent to you. It's not directly to you. So it has a little bit, they might make a day longer to get to you, but they've been tested more than they have been on like CachyOS. So that is why I recommend openSUSE, because of that testing process, much more reliable, and you've got the rollback option as well. So there's that to consider. Now, if you're doing gaming, I will say openSUSE and NVIDIA cards don't get on brilliantly. There is some issues installing some of the drivers sometimes. It can be a bit of a pain. So there's that to consider. You can do it. It's just you might have to do a bit more Googling and a lot more troubleshooting. But it's not too bad. It honestly isn't too bad, but it is slightly harder on that than it is compared to Mint. And that's kind of it. There's no wrong distro for you. There's ones that are slightly harder to understand. Yes, of course there is. But don't let anyone say you're using the wrong distribution. There's no such thing. They're all fantastic. I love all the Linux distros. We want to encourage, love and compassion and excitement and all these things and sharing. We want to do all this. We don't need to be hating each other for the distribution we choose. No need for that. So if you've got any recommendations, if you're watching this, to this person who's left a comment, leave your recommendations of the distribution you would recommend. Not the one you love the most, the one you recommend for newer users. Let me know what you think. And the other way is just have fun and just think, if you do want to get into Linux and really learn about it, just pick one, pick out what you want to do, pick out what you want to try, read up about the distribution's history and read up about their ethos and what they mean, who they stand for, how it's controlled, and see which one tickles your fancy. If none of that's important to you and you just want a cool one to install, then just pick one. Doesn't matter then, does it? Just pick one. But Mint is probably the easiest one to start with. openSUSE is the one I would choose long-term beginner. If you really want to get into it and learn about it, there's none better than openSUSE, I would say. But I would say that because that's what I run. But anyway, so if you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and head to gnutolinux.com for any cool stuff that I think might be helpful you can read. Thanks again, everybody. See you later.